Nigerian rising debt profile of over 38 trillion and debt service to revenue ratio of 76% in 2021 is worrisome and not sustainable. There must be a decisive intervention to address the debt challenges and potential negative impacts it could have in the near future. To comprehensively analyze this situation, it's very important for us to take a step back to assess how we got here. Between 2015 and 2020, Nigeria overall expenditure doubled from 5 trillion to 10.1 trillion, while revenue grew slower at 15%. The obvious outcome is budget deficits, which was funded by borrowing. My understanding of addressing budget deficits is to first look inwards, consider increasing the top line, which is revenue, and optimizing expenditure to ensure wastages and inefficiencies are minimized before considering borrowing. So the question to really ask is whether Nigeria is experiencing revenue or debt sustainability problem. In my view, I would say that Nigeria is fundamentally experiencing revenue crisis, as Nigeria's revenue public debt to GDP ratio is 35.7%, which is one of the lowest in Africa. Worsening the revenue crisis is the fact that the Nigerian government has had to deal with 2 economic recessions in 2016 and 2020, and also manage a global pandemic, which required the government to then increase its spending to bridge the social economic gap. If the revenue problems are not addressed, we can end up in a debt sustainability crisis. What is critically important now is for governments to find creative ways to increase the revenue base to ensure that our recurrent expenditure are fully funded from revenue. Over the years, we know that revenue generation is an area that Nigeria has performed poorly, and some of the issues that we've experienced are around dominant reliance on oil as a major source of income. And when there was a decline in global oil prices, we saw how it impacted us greatly. We've also seen inefficiencies in revenue collection and resulting to a high number of non-taxpayers within the country. We've also seen in scenarios where state governments were granted bailouts by the federal government, which resulted to limited efforts from their own view and commitment to even explore opportunities for revenue generation at the state level. We've also seen inadequate infrastructure to support our key productive sectors. All of this has resulted to our poor revenue generation practices. So I think what is critical now is for us to start thinking differently on some of the key areas on how to enable us to improve our revenue generation. Some of the key areas that we can consider are how to leverage technology and digital solutions to increase efficiency in government collection and also block revenue leakages. We can also see how we can exploit opportunities to generate revenue at state level. Another critical area is how we can unlock value from government idle or underutilized assets. Some of the things we can do differently are we should consider divestments, privatization of our strategic assets. Another area that I believe we can also consider new thinking is how we implement performance-based and incentive arrangements for revenue-generating MDAs. And finally, we need to address the big elephant in the room as well, which is to address the insecurity to enable the attraction of FDIs to address our revenue issue. Debts and borrowings can be catalysts for growth and sustainable development if channeled to revenue-generating capital projects, as well as used to bridge the huge infrastructure gap in the country. If debts and borrowings are focused on funding capital projects that have strong future revenue-generating prospects to repay both the loan and the interest, as well as drive strong GDP growth, then that would be more appropriate. Finally, I would say that while Nigerians' debt burden remains manageable, maintaining sustainable debt dynamics will require new thinking to address the pressures that we currently face and enable us to break the cycle of low growth and rising public debt.